And now we've already done Hagley Ferrymead, so now we move on to Riccarton Wigram Community Board, Mike Mora.
Greetings.
Greetings.
It gives me great pleasure to sit here today and present our community board submission. I won't go through the first couple of sentences, but do congratulate the council on the extensive engagement process that you've undertaken so far. Well done. Under the Greater Christchurch Urban Development Strategy and the Southwest Area Plan, it's acknowledged that the Riccarton Wigram ward is one of the leading growth areas in the city and will remain so for the next 2 decades. Additionally, the board notes that the intent and framework of both the LERP and the proposed replacement district plan reflect a clear emphasis on intensification in the post-earthquake environment. A specific example of the major shift in land use intensification, which is a major concern to the board, are the adverse effects on local communities that arise from the expansion of quarrying activity on the periphery of the urban areas. In this regard, the board cannot stress enough the importance of ensuring that the council has, through the life of this budget, the capacity and resources allocated so that a high standard of monitoring and compliance of associated conditions are in place and being capable of maintained. So what we're saying here is, if resource consents are granted, conditions need to be monitored and enforced. And that's where we're having and have had quite a lot of issues over the years. We don't want that to continue into the future. With such rapid development and growth happening now and projected to occur in the board is especially keen to ensure that this plan will contribute to managing the challenges, opportunities and expectations of the Riccarton Wigram community for the next 10 years. Local capital projects. Given the council's present financial pressures, the board notes the extent of the proposed capital program, the attention being given to the Riccarton Wigram ward, to the road networks, road safety improvements. I'll just pause there for a minute. We were concerned to see quite a number of identified road safety improvements that have been deferred or dropped off the list. A lot of those are in our area as well. So, and dropped off the list, I mean unbudgeted. I think when something's been budgeted and it's to do with safety, it needs to be strictly, had a very, very close look at. Cycleways is another thing that we're very, very keen to see progress in our ward. But I just take the opportunity to mention that the Cars Road overbridge over the motorway is in the budget process, but it's been put out. But what has been identified since this document was written, that there is a plan to put the Owaka Trail down that same Cars Road cycleway bridge, which is not the location of the Owaka Heritage Trail. The Heritage Trail goes down Owaka Road, not Cars Road. So I'm just flagging that at this stage, so that if there's budget to put the Owaka Trail in a different location, and from what I'm understanding, it requires purchasing 20 metres of 5 different properties down Cars Road to give it the width. The combined width of the Owaka Trail and the cycleway pedestrian way is going to be 40 metres, which is quite a big hunk of land, particularly when it's in the wrong place. So I'm just flagging that. I've just caught up with that fact, Madam Mayor and councillors. But we do appreciate and support the just 3 local projects. The Hornby Library and Service Centre, Southwest Leisure Centre, and the Hallswell Skate Park. I heard from a presentation earlier from another community board about the lack of aquatic facilities. We lost our Sockburn pool quite a long time ago. The only pool that we do have in our ward, covered pool, public covered pool, is Wharanui, which is earmarked for closure once a new metropolitan one, but I'll get on to that shortly through our submission as well, but we're very, very passionate about retaining that. So the board is pleased to note that the next one refers to the funding or the relocation of the Cars Reserve or the Christchurch Kart Club, Go-Kart Club. I realise that that was a matter that was discussed at the council last week by the council, and the budget for that relocation is quite prohibitive now. I met with the Awatea Residents Association representatives this morning. They will be presenting on Friday, and because the go-karts in their present location is holding up residential development in the area, it's been suggested that it refers back to the original Plan Change 5, the Awatea Plan Change, which gives a commercial/business zone buffer around the go-karts so that they can stay where they are, which is a bit unfortunate, but I think that's the best solution. So the Awatea Residents Association will be talking about that. The next one, Madam Mayor and Councillors, Bradshaw Terrace. This is the only one section of road that we refer to. It's got quite a history with it there if you read through our submission. It was due to be upgraded in 2010. But since then we've had deputations to our board and on-site meetings with people in the area. There are flooding and drainage problems and also sewage overflow problems in this area, plus the curb and channel is the old curb and channel. Other sections of the street further down have been upgraded. It's the only one in that area. So what we're asking for is for that to be budgeted for and upgraded, because it is more than just the look of the street. There are quite serious drainage and stormwater issues and sewage overflow issues. The Templeton community, 3.3, they claim that they're the forgotten community when they look at budgets around the city. Anyway, it's a very, very lovely community, but they have had, and I've been involved with that resident association for over 20 years, they have had ongoing issues with flooding in the Kirk Road area. There was a new stormwater retention system put in place a few years ago on Railway Terrace that we thought was going to solve all the problems, and it hasn't. So what they're asking for is for those historic flooding issues around the Kirk Road area to be addressed, and that we also have a look at bus shelters in Templeton as well. Currently, one of the main bus stops on Kirk Road is outside the chemists and doctors. When it's raining, you step out, you can't see, it's like the old curb and channel, and it's flooded. So you step out, you don't know where the drain is, where the footpath starts and the road finishes. It's quite dangerous. Just seems to be in the worst possible location. So what we're asking for is, can we please get something done about that? Then we go on to the new curb and channel and footpaths. There's some quite outstanding issues with the lack of in our ward as well. Dunbar's Road on the north side from Wigram Road to Hallswell Road. When you go down there, it's got a lovely curb and channel on the south side. Nothing at all on the north side of Dunbar's Road. There's no delineation at all between, so the road edge is all breaking away, there's potholes, there's great big muddy sludge pots that people have got to walk through to get to bus stops. It's just absolutely a mess. So what we're pleading for is some money to be put in the curb and channel renewal programs for that area in particular. The main south road, new footpath from Carmen Road to Chappie Place, very, very high frequency area. Pedestrian wise, no footpath. And that's that road, that section of Main South Road until just over a year ago was NZTA. It is now the City Council road. So we need to pick up some responsibility for there. The other thing, Madam Mayor and Councillors, is there's no curb cut down. There's nowhere for people to stand while they're waiting for the bus. They've got to move down that north side and we're encouraging people. There is bus lanes down down Main South Road, down that section of Main, bus priority lanes, but there's no footpath for people to walk across. There's no curb cut downs for anybody with mobility issues to actually get up onto off the main South Road and up onto the slippery grass. So that's an issue that we just really want to have looked at. And we also talk about, we've talked to NZTA about getting some pedestrian crossing facilities on the north side of the Carmen Road, Main South Road intersection as well, so people can walk from the mall down to Countdown and then vice versa. If we want to encourage physical transport rather than motor vehicles, that's the way to do it. And also, this is another historic one, Hallswell Road. We've been told from Dunbars to Aidenfield Drive, we've been told that, that there is a policy that they won't put footpaths down roads where there's no, until it's been developed. All that section has been developed. A lot of it is drainage swales, but the development's taken place at the back of that. People have got no footpath down that east section or the west section at all of Hallswell Road. So you get people coming out of Aidenfield, want to walk, and they've got no footpath to walk down. 3.5 is the University of Canterbury. As you know, it's a pretty big business. The population of Ashburton flows in and out of that university every year, the equivalent of the population of Ashburton. So what we're suggesting here is that we look at, in conjunction with the university and the Resident Association, is a master plan, similar to a suburban master plan where there's a sensible buffer between the commercial, because the university is a commercial business, and the residential interface. Been some huge issues over the years with converting houses, for example, to accommodation, 5-6 bedrooms, rooms for rent. So it's just that if there can be some money made available, please, to help with the progress of a master plan around the university, that would be very, very much appreciated. And we offer full support to the Riccarton Community Centre and Service Centre and Voluntary Library re-establishment or renewal. But we are disappointed, and I go back to the Wharenui Pool again. The board is disappointed, however, to understand that the future of Wharenui Pool and Recreation Centre is linked to the commissioning of the Metropolitan Sports Facility. We don't see a great need at all to put the death knell on Wharenui Pool or the Recreation Centre with the opening of a Metropolitan Sports Facility. So what we're saying is that's a historic thing. It's the coronation pool. That pool was built for the coronation of the Queen as a memorial. It's getting a lot of use by the swimming club and the public sessions, so all we're asking for is please don't give it the chop. Funding alternatives. This may or may not fall too positively on some people's ideas. But these are the things that we offer, some ideas for the council to contemplate in future budgets considerations. And that is GST, the tax on rates. That these taxes be returned to the council to contribute towards the council's recovery, with the proviso that it be for a defined period. We know that.
There's no point raising it as a recommendation for us to consider in the LTP.
Or can't we have a working party that talks with the government about that possibility?
Local Government New Zealand have raised it year after year after year.
Yes.
It's in the local government funding review, and we will continue to support it, but there's no point raising it here. We'd like to have ideas that we can actually advance now.
Okay. Our board wanted to raise it here, so we just have. Regional fuel tax.
The submission says all this, you know, you don't,
you don't have to go through it all.
Focus on stuff that really...
Capital Endowment Fund.
Yes, we've asked for a report on whether we need to continue with the Capital Endowment Fund under the circumstances and what that would do. Okay,
there's a rating levels and the impact of the combined rates increases over a period here. It's just it's something that you've probably read and understand, but the impact is over the next 3 years a 25% increase in rates. And we do acknowledge the difficult position financially, and the board would ask the council to continue to do all it can to limit the extent of such future rate rises. Now, we do know it's very, very difficult.
Did you discuss, like the last community board, the idea of a slightly higher rate increase so that there's no need to look at the...
No, we haven't.
Right. But you'd like a lower... Right.
Yeah, but this submissions committee and document was endorsed by the community board.
Yeah, but that's by the by. It doesn't matter. You're not allowed to endorse it. Yeah, the council laws, as a general rule, didn't take part.
Absolutely correct. Yeah. So, and the strengthening communities funds, we've had some clarification on that today, Madam Mayor and councillors, and much appreciate the fact that that hasn't been reduced. Very, very, very much appreciate that fact. And 7 is the comments that we've done in previous years, the community boards, you know, as far as governance framework and we accept that and we look forward to getting more delegations and responsibilities and resourcing for our boards to continue to advocate and do good work for our community, and to take some of the workload off the very, very busy City Council if you're of a mind to give us that responsibility.
We are.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, there's a couple of minutes left. David?
On page 3 of your support, under the heading Disposal of Council Assets, you make the statement that you're opposed to any disposal of council assets to fund any matters related to the earthquake. Do I take it then, if we're looking at some new initiatives and developments, you'd be amenable to accessing capital to do those?
Fundamentally, we don't really want to sell assets, but to look at other ways of funding. One of those other ways of funding, and I've mentioned in our other alternatives, i.e. regional fuel taxes, targeted rates.
There is no power to introduce a regional fuel tax. There isn't one in Auckland. They asked for one and the government took away the ability. When the previous Labour government was in power, they put in a regional fuel tax, National repealed it. So don't even go there.
Okay. It's worth a go. You're asking for alternatives, Madam Mayor and councillors.
But they've got to be alternatives that work. And, you know, I think the point that's being made is that if we're not going to release any capital, I mean, in the regional council area of Tauranga, they released 44% of their shareholding. They now earn more than they earned by way of dividends than they earned at the time. The share value went from $1.05 to $16.95 or something. You know, it's a massive increase in value to the region, owning 44% of a successful asset instead of 100% of one that was a basket case.
I've got a feeling, Madam Mayor and councillors, that if that question was put to our community board about selling some shares in some assets, that could well gain support. But I haven't got that support at this time. All I'm saying that I suspect, because we have chatted about these things, but outright asset sales, but selling shares in some non-strategic assets could be well worth looking at.
Yeah. The thing is that if it's not got any strategic value,
yes, then
you can't sell a share parcel of it. There wouldn't be any value that would return to the council. So look, I think the point that you made then is that there seems to be a debate around asset sales versus not selling assets, when in fact what we've said is that there's a range of things that we need to understand the value of before we write something off. Absolutely. And you're saying your community board is open for that conversation? I would say so. Without having a definite answer, I would say that they would probably warm towards the ability to sell off some shares and some assets rather than wholesale sale of assets. And certainly get a bigger return if that's the case. So, but anyway, thank you very much. Your time has concluded. The time is well and truly.
No, it's just a procedural. There's a number of projects that he identified that we don't have in front of us. Can we get a copy of that project list? Can we? Yep. What?
Every single thing that Mike's just read out has come from the submission.
Well, I can't see that.
There was a separate submission. The original submission was replaced. And I'm telling you, everything that Mike just read out is in the replacement submission. It's in the electronic copy. So there was a couple of things, Madam Mayor, that I did touch on that weren't in there, and one of them was the funding for the cycle overpass over the main over the southern arterial motorway. Well, okay, I dragged that in under cycleways, the reference to cycleways. I thought you put it into the new curb and channel and put that. Anyway, look. That was a local capital project. The extra two, the staff have recorded everything. It will be picked up. It will be reported back on. Awesome. Thank you. Right. So the next submission.